hello, awesome artists. Today I'm going to show you how to draw a dream catcher. What is a dream catcher, you might ask? In many tribes, a dream catcher is a handmade hoop made out of the willow tree. It's in a circle, has a little hole in the middle, and it's woven sort of like a net, sort of like a spider web too. Now, it was believed that all of the bad dreams would get caught in the webbing of the dream catcher, while all of the good dreams would go through the hole in the center, and it would be saved in the feathers of the dream catchers. Now, a dream catcher was normally made by the grandparents, and it hung above the cribs or above the beds of the children, and it sort of protected them during sleep so that they wouldn't have bad dreams. Now, in the morning when the sun came up, all of the bad dreams were burned away. We still have some of those art pieces today hanging in museums, and it's still a craft that is made today. So I'm going to show you a picture of that. Now this is going to be a 2-week art lesson. So this week you're going to draw it. Next week we're going to add the color. So do not color it today because I have something really cool to show you next week with washable markers. Now a washable marker is just like a Crayola, really anything that's not permanent. So if you have those, that's good. If not, you can use whatever you've got, but we'll talk more about that later. So let me show you how to draw this dream catcher. Now for what we're doing today, since water will later be involved, possibly, we need to draw with either a permanent marker or a black crayon. Either one will do well. If you're planning on doing the water activity, I would definitely stay away from the washable marker. Now, to begin with, I am going to trace a circle. Now, when you're choosing a circle, and lids work really great for tracing, make sure you have some room on all the sides. Instead of putting it in the middle, I'm going to push it up towards the top, and this will leave room for the feathers of the dream catcher to hang down a little bit. So I'm going to trace around the circle. It doesn't have to be perfect because nobody is going to be comparing it to the circle that you have. Okay. Our next step is to draw a small circle in the middle. Now in the dream catchers, this is where the good dreams come through. Almost like a little donut. Now after we have our donut shape, we are going to draw some lines that go out to the side. Maybe it's like we're slicing a pizza. Next, this is sort of like drawing a spider web. Now, the way the dream catchers were made, they were woven and they would go in and out or around these little threads on the dream catcher. So one way to do it is to draw a line from one slanted line to the next, like you're making a spider web. Now, if you want to get really fancy and try something a little bit harder, you can draw a tiny little loop like you're actually going around. If we're imagining that these are threads, like we're going around each little thread to create more of a woven look. Now remember, these don't have to be perfect. They don't all have to be alike. We just want it to look like it's woven. Now once I'm kind of touching the very end of the line on my last one. You don't have any more space, you just stop. Now we will go back and add a little bit more later, but for now we're going to do the outside edge. So very carefully, I'm going to draw a circle that follows the first circle. A little bit out from it though. Doesn't have to be perfect, of course. Now what this actually is on the dream catcher, it's a piece of willow. A long time they would take pieces or branches from the willow tree that were very flexible and they would wind them sort of into a circle. Then they would wrap it with leather around the edge to make it stay. There's some options for this. If you want to make it look like it's wrapped, you could draw lines around like this, all the way around. Remember how curved lines make things look a little more rounded? That's what I'm doing to mine. Then if you wanted to do something extra, you could even come back and cross your lines just for something different. Or you may have your own way of decorating the edge. I am not going to tell you what to do because you're the artist and you will figure that out. You're going to make it your own. Remember, in art, there's no wrong way, only different ways. And I'm only here to guide you. After we have our basic dream catcher, we're gonna add feathers. The easiest thing to do for your feathers so that they're not all in a clump is I start with one in the middle and I draw a slightly curved line. Please do not make it very curvy. It will be really hard for you. That goes almost to the bottom. I might do another one on this side and another on this side. They are just barely curving. To make the feathers, sort of like a leaf, I start at the bottom and I go up like a stretched out C, and up, up, and up, and up, and up. Now if I want to add more feathers, I could do it the same way. You might want some shorter this time. Look at that. You can add as few or as many as you like. Let's make this a little longer. This time, this one might go behind this bigger feather. Okay. Now, they look a little bit like leaves right now, so to make them look more like feathers, I'm gonna do the little sticking up parts, the little hairy part of the feather up there. And I'm gonna add some lines. Now, I don't want them to look just like leaves, so I don't want perfect little veiny looking lines. They're gonna be more random, sort of where your feathers might separate. I'm just gonna add in some of those. You might even wanna have some thicker lines and some thinner lines. Variety's always good in art. You don't want everything to look exactly the same way. It's good and makes it more interesting if you can add some different things. And I just always create as I go. I probably don't ever do anything the same way twice. Now that I have some feathers, I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna add some beads. Now, Native Americans were very decorative people and they always embellished, that means add, different things to their art. One of the things you saw on dream catchers pretty often were beads. So here and there, you might want to put some circles in there. If you'd like to, you could color them or you can just leave them. It's just up to you. And I might want to put some on my feathers too. I might color that in since that kind of bothers me a little bit for that line to be going through my bead. And I'm just adding two, add as many as you want. Remember, this is your own. You're gonna make it yours. And we'll see more examples later. Now, if you wanted to do something on the inside, feel free, if you're feeling really artsy, to add some patterns in there if you want to. You don't have to do exactly what I'm doing. You may choose to leave yours plain. Totally up to you. Like maybe on this one, I might want maybe some zigzag lines. You can take your time. I am just rushing through a little bit so that our video is not so long. Maybe. When your dream catcher is done, don't lose it and don't throw it away because we're gonna add the color next week. So we're gonna be talking more about that, and I am gonna show you a really cool new technique with washable markers. So stay tuned for next week's lesson.